There's something I used to do when I was much younger. If I wanted to do something, I wouldn't just think about whether I wanted to do it. I would think about every other thing around it, every possible circumstance, every possible consequence, everyone who might be affected by it, and every single reason it may or may not work. And I had thought I was being considerate at the time. I thought I was being thoughtful, if I'm being honest. But the problem was, I would think about it so much that I would eventually talk myself out of actually doing it. And then months or days or weeks or sometimes even years later, I would see someone else do the exact same thing I had wanted to do. And I'd sit back and think, why didn't I do it? Why did I assume that it wouldn't work? Why was I so worried about everyone else? And there's actually a really simple example of how I've experienced this in my life. So we have a spare room at home, and it was the room where our visitors usually stay when they come around. It could be family, friends, whoever. And for the longest time, I had wanted to turn that room into my personal office because I work from home. But then I think about it and I'm like, what if visitors come? Where are they going to sleep? What if they're not comfortable? What if I need to give up the room later? So I just kept postponing it. And eventually, my husband came along and simply took the room and turned it into his office. Mind you, I never discussed it with him. And guess what? People still came. Visitors still came. Families still came. They stayed. And somehow, the world did not end. The room was still functioning perfectly well. And I remember thinking, why did I think this was not going to work? And I've had moments like this before in my life where I wanted something, but before I could actually give myself the permission to have it, I would first try to make sure that every other person was going to be okay with it. And eventually, I started wondering if I'm actually a very considerate person, or am I just good at finding reasons not to do the things I wanted to do? And I think the answer might be a little bit uncomfortable, because sometimes I don't think overthinking other people's needs is actually about other people. I think it was about protecting myself, because if I don't act, I wouldn't have to find out whether I would have succeeded. If I don't start something, then I don't have to find out if I'm capable of actually seeing it to the end. If I don't make a decision, I wouldn't have to face the consequences if I were wrong. So I think my mind disguised avoidance as consideration. I'll tell myself, I'm just thinking about every other person, when underneath that, another voice is actually saying, I need to be completely certain that nobody will be uncomfortable if I allow myself to do what I want. And that's an impossible standard. Because most times, somebody might always be uncomfortable. Somebody might disagree with you. And things might not go according to plan. And if I continue to wait until I can guarantee that everything would be okay, then I'm going to spend my entire life waiting. I genuinely don't think the answer is to stop caring about people and all of that. I actually like that I care. The question is whether I'm caring about other people at the expense of my own self. Because there's a thin line between consideration and self-abandonment. So consideration is like this. It goes, I want this. Let me think about how it affects every other person. And if there's a real problem, I'll deal with it. But self-abandonment would go, I want this. But what if someone else might be uncomfortable? So maybe I shouldn't want it? And I realized that I've sometimes treated hypothetical discomfort as though they were actual problems. I've protected people from problems that they never said they had, while making myself live with problems that I actually had. And maybe that's something I genuinely need to change. Instead of asking, could this inconvenience someone, I should ask if it's hurting someone. Instead of, what if someone doesn't like it? I should actually ask, has anybody told me that there is a problem? And the most important question might be, if nobody objected, would I still stop myself from doing the things I wanted to do? Because if the answer to that is yes, then maybe the obstacle is not other people. It was never them. It was always me. And that's what I'm learning. I'm learning that I can consider other people without putting myself last. I can care about other people's comfort without making my own desires negotiable. And I can give myself the permission to try something even when I don't know for certain if everything would work out. Because sometimes you don't need to know that everything will work out before you give yourself the permission to try. You just have to stop assuming it would fail and try.